Hello and welcome. This lesson is going to focus on a basic form of the Moeller method or Moeller technique. And we're going to look at a very simple version of an isolated Moeller stroke. The Moeller method is primarily based on a whip-like motion. So if you can imagine cracking a whip, the motion that would use to crack a whip, that's the basic motion we utilize to play a Moeller stroke. So instead of a whip handle, of course, we have a drumstick, and we want to think of starting that stroke by lifting the wrist. You can actually imagine that we have a string tied around the wrist. We kind of pull it up. As this moves up, the wrist, the hand, all of these muscles should be very relaxed. What happens then is that at the top of this stroke, then we bring the hand and the stick up and around. We want to open the fulcrum, meaning open up the hand and the fingers at the top, and then we want to bring that down and around very quickly. And at the very bottom, we're going to squeeze that fulcrum shut, squeezing the fingers around the stick at the bottom. So this will end with what we call a controlled stroke, meaning we control that rebound and leave the tip low. So once again, in slow motion, this is what a basic Moeller stroke would look like. The reason this is effective is because it generates a lot of velocity. We're whipping the tip of that stick around really quickly, generating a lot of velocity, and our volume, our dynamics, are really determined by how fast the stick is moving through the air when it makes contact with the drum. So in order to get a lot of velocity generated quickly, this whip-like motion is very efficient at doing that. So you can take some time to slowly practice. You can practice this somewhat exaggerated motion slowly, hand to hand, just to get the feel. One thing to point out is that these Moeller strokes would never be used for an unaccented note, what we would call taps. Those are going to be just basic downstrokes played low, unaccented. And there's no reason to use a Moeller stroke when we want to do something like that. Single stroke roll, for instance. The only time we're going to use a Moeller stroke is when we want an accented note, a note with extra emphasis. We'll be looking at some other applications of the Moeller technique in some more detail later, but this is a great way to just get started with these basic isolated Moeller strokes. One very practical application of these simple isolated Moeller strokes would be to our backbeat on the drum set. We do want nice big fat accents on our snare drum. There are a couple of different ways we could achieve that. We could try to really squeeze the stick down at the fulcrum using a lot of finger. That actually can be very effective. I've just found that over the years that I've fallen into the habit of this simple Moeller stroke. It's just a really efficient way to move. It should feel very natural, and it feels very natural and flowing to me. And it's very effective. So, there's a great way to get started applying the Moeller stroke to the drum set. Have fun, Till next time.